Good afternoon, I'm Raylene Ramsey. This is your afternoon news fix for Wednesday, the 12th of June. The man who kidnapped, raped and murdered Lower Hutt teenager Carla Cardno will have a number of short releases into the community ahead of a possible release. Paul Joseph Daly murdered the 13-year-old in 1989. He dragged her to his house and tortured her for 22 hours. Jordan Dunn has more.
Daly appeared before the parole board this morning, where his lawyer sought a 3-month stand down so he could find an appropriate living situation. He also wanted to complete a number of guided releases to arrange a bank card and train pass. The board told Daly it wasn't enough time and ruled it would see him again next April.
US-based DNA experts, the latest to give evidence in the Court of Appeal hearing for Scott Watson. The 52-year-old's been in jail for nearly 25 years for the 1998 murders of Olivia Hope and Ben Smart. Strands of what was believed to be Olivia Hope's hair found on Scott Watson's blanket is a focal point of his second appeal. Open Justice reporter Catherine Hutton says the experts stated it was strong circumstantial evidence, but not a positive form of identification.
He agreed with Kerry Cook, who's a lawyer for Watson, that when the prosecutor told the jury at the trial that the scientific process led to the conclusion that the hairs were Hope's, that was, quote, an embellishment.
Former Australian NRL star Jared Hayne has had his rape convictions quashed after a successful appeal. The 36-year-old had spent a year in jail after being convicted of 2 counts of sexual intercourse without consent last April. An earlier guilty verdict was also overturned. Prosecutors are now considering a 4th trial. The current economy and waning job opportunities are likely behind the country's record departures. Latest figures from Stats NZ show more than 130,000 people moved out of the country in the year to April, the highest ever seen. Among those were a record 81,200 New Zealand citizens. Herald Business Editor-at-Large Liam Dan says it's certainly a worry.
And a bit of an indictment on the economy, seeking better pastures offshore, a lot of them heading for Australia, I know.
The Prime Minister says He Waka Eka Noa broke down. The group was tasked with finding a way to put a price on agriculture emissions outside of the emissions trading scheme. If they failed, farmers would enter the ETS from next year and buy units in exchange for emitting. Both that stopgap plan and He Waka Eka Noa is being scrapped by the coalition. Chris Luxon says it just wasn't working.
For us, that's the way we're going to roll. We're going to work with the sector rather than fight the sector.
Meanwhile, an agriculture scientist says if we want change, it's most effective when it comes from within. Ag research scientist Robin Dine says setting up the group is essential.
If the industry shapes and informs the process with government, we've got a much better chance of getting a good outcome for our sectors. And these sectors are essential to the New Zealand economy.
In sport, the Hurricanes have lost impressive front rower Xavier Numia, but gained All Blacks tight head prop Terrell Lomax for their Super Rugby semi-final against an unchanged Chiefs side in the capital. The Blues have named blindside flanker Akira Ioane to face the Brumbies on Friday, despite not training today due to a calf injury suffered in the quarter-final against the Drua. And Australia's made light work of Namibia in the T20 World Cup, winning by 9 wickets in Antigua and qualifying for the Super 8. I'm Raylene Ramsey. That is your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update tomorrow morning from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.